With the highest inflation rate in the last 40 years, your money is literally evaporating in front of your eyes. Your money is getting weaker and weaker, and prices are getting stronger and stronger. I mean, for God's sake, the price of an egg is up over 60% in the last 12 months. What an absolute cock-up. It's about time on this channel we address some ways you can actually set up a defense to protect your own cash and savings. Despite the recent slow of inflation in the last couple of months, many people still believe that 2023 will be much harder than the 2022. And let's be honest, who can blame them? We've got mass layoffs that are seemingly increasing as time goes by. The UK is literally near bankruptcy. The EU is heading over a cliff as Greta Thunderbird stages an arrest. And the US, well, I mean, let's be honest. You get the point. Let's just leave it here.
Anyway.
So what are you going to do about it? What in fact can you do about it? Well, here's 4 things that you should be doing right now. The first thing is switching your bank account. It's simple to say, I know, but many of you will miss this point. Banking has changed dramatically over the last couple of decades, but the chances are the institution you're banking with hasn't changed with the times. It is an absolute ball ache changing your bank. I feel you. But statistics show that Americans stay with their same primary checking and savings account for about 17 years on average, according to a bank rate survey. Now, to put that in context, that's longer than the average marriage in the United States. And big shout out to Pamela Anderson for bringing down this average. But it is actually worth regularly shopping around to make sure you are getting the best deal for you. In fact, I think you could not have too many bank accounts provided they are indeed free. And you could easily find a company that offers you better benefits that outweigh the inconveniences for switching an institution. One institution in the US, Citizens Financial Group, and by the way, this is not a recommendation, it's not sponsored. In fact, let's just say it like this: do not sign up for any product I mention in this video. Thank God I nearly got sued there. But CFG added a feature to some of its checkings account that give customers an overdraft limit up until 10 p.m. the next working day, which allows its customers to have a longer grace period before they have a heavy penalty charge for going negative. It's an absolute game changer for people who are struggling or living paycheck to paycheck. Another example is I myself, here in Budapest, used to get charged a staggering 1.2% for every single cash withdrawal I made at an ATM. I know it's sickening, but now Revolut is here and other companies like Curve, where I get a limit of free withdrawals from the ATM every single month. And these two combined means I just literally saved cash that I otherwise would have just burned into the abyss of banking. Lily App is another one in the US, which is an online-only bank for gig economy workers and entrepreneurs, which includes a feature that you can have a tax write-off tracker in your checkings account, which is a great feature. Imagine having that when I was 22. The point here is there is many cost savings to be had with little time and little research needed, and if you compound these savings throughout the year, it will save you a lot of money and also massively help with tip number 2. And if you combine the two, you're on to an absolute winner. Tip number 2, something you're all going to have heard before, but hear me out. Cancel your subscriptions.
Oh, this shit again.
I know. It's obvious, but just listen to this. It's the time of year where many Americans, many people around the world are signing up for gym memberships as part of a New Year's resolution to lose a few pounds. For those of you who've never been to the UK or simply don't know, the pound is actually the Great British currency. So there is a pun somewhere here. I just can't find it. Let me know in the comments. Now, I myself have not done this tradition of joining a gym for the last 8 years. Basically since I met my wife and she put a ring on my finger because, well, now I'm married, I'm allowed to be an absolute physical mess. But January for me is actually a financial workout month. I use this time to cancel unwanted subscriptions and try and shed a few quid here or there on my budget. Quid equaling pound. So I'm losing pounds in another form here. I knew there was a pun somewhere.
Okay.
The average American apparently spends $200 a month on subscription fees. Roughly 3/4 of consumers say that it's easy to set and forget about recurring charges, and 42% admit they're still paying for a subscription they've completely forgotten about. 42% of people are paying for they completely have forgot about. It's utter madness and literally a lack of responsibility. And according to Rocky Money, the memberships on average have increased a staggering 8.5% in 2022 compared with 2021. So your subscriptions that you forgot about, folks, are just getting more expensive. The chief revenue officer at Rocket Money said, "This year more than other recent years, it is more important to not just take stock of your finances, but to really cut on unneeded expenses expenses and to brace for what could be a tough 2023. And let's be honest, we all agree this year's gonna be tough, so why not actually act? So far in January, here's an example I've literally gone and done. I listed all the streaming services and TV services I had, of course excluding YouTube because it's free and I'm too tight to pay for YouTube Premium. The ones that I actually have and use on a regular basis was Amazon Prime, Netflix, HBO, and Disney, and of course I get a lot of channels free with the local network here in Hungary, Digi. So I made myself promise. I don't need 5, I'm gonna cut 2, and I can't cut my internet provider, which provides me the Digi. An easy one to cut was Netflix because I just couldn't watch the drama of Harry and Meghan Sparkle as it's being rammed down my throat on every single angle on Twitter. I mean, dude, get a grip. Your big brother beat you up, so what? It happens to everybody. And on the second one that I cancelled, well, I'm going to let you guess down in the comments, and moreover, the reason why. It's pretty damn obvious. Now, the third big measure you can do to protect your money is renegotiate your bills. And why do people not do this? I really do not know. I have this argument with my wife all the time. She really doesn't like calling people and haggling or arguing, or especially if there's a problem. Like, she hates calling people like the plumber. Look, that pipe you installed is leaking. Please come and fix it. Whereas me, on the other hand, I couldn't genuinely give a flying what these people say. They're simply taking my money.
Fix this damn door!
Now, for all those bills that you kept, so all the ones that you didn't cancel, like I just told you I cancelled Netflix, that's off the books, but all the other ones you think you can get away with, all the recurring bills, at least call them. Call them by phone, drop them an email, try and figure out a way to negotiate. Cable companies and wireless providers may be willing to actually lower your bill since it costs more for them to actually require a new customer than to keep a new one. All of this according to Ted Rossman, who is a consumer spending analyst at Bankrate. Don't be afraid to ask a company for your old rate back or match a competitor's price. There's often a non-advertised retention discount to help keep customers from canceling out their subscription in most companies. Do not be afraid to request any deals you see the company advertising or any discounts being offered to new customers, even if you're a long-term subscriber. Just bear in mind what Sophie Resman said over at Brightside. If you're asking to lower your rate with your service provider, such as your wireless company, be aware that you may be offered a promotional rate that will increase significantly after an initial period expires. A company that provides financial guidance to its workers sets a reminder to cancel or downgrade them eventually. So just bear in mind, if you get a special deal right now, you might actually want to make sure it's long lasting rather than just a short-term fix for a month, because the month after they can, well, pull your pants down again. And I know you're probably thinking, what is this book? Don't worry, it's coming in this exact tip. Another way to cut costs when you call these providers or email them is to ask for certain fees to be removed from your statement. These items tend to come under other fees and could be things like installing actual cables or Wi-Fi boxes in your house, all of which can be deducted from your price. If your first call to this company isn't successful, feel free to call again on a different day when you might have better chances. You might get in front of a more understanding representative who's in a similar situation. Here's the tip with my black book. Now, I suggest every single person go out and get a black book. It has to be black. It cannot be another color. If you get a red one, it's not going to work, I promise you. If you are successful getting through to a representative at a company, put it down in your black book. Put down their name, their extension, and next time you call them, it could be in a month, it could even be your Wi-Fi is not working. Call Jeff on extension 343. And the reason I'm saying do this is for 2 reasons. One is, it's good to build rapport. It's good to be nice, and genuinely, if you call the same person and say, "Hi Jeff, how's it going?" he's going to be more happy that you remembered him, and he's happy he did a good job in the first place, meaning he's more likely to help you next time. And number 2 is, imagine if Jeff lost his job or left his job and you're calling Cindy on 343 now. You can be like, "Hey Cindy, Jeff helped me a bunch last time, so you've got lofty expectations to live up to. Laugh, laugh, joke, joke. We've just built rapport. Let's get together and have a seafood dinner." Also, try and write down some notes like you're stalking this person about their family, what their hair color is, or if they like pet mice. And when you call this person, you can ask them about this, and you will massively stand out from the thousands of other calls they're getting every single day. Seriously, folks, have a black book. It genuinely does help a lot. And by the way, it's not just like cable providers in here as well. It's a full-on address book, but you get what I'm getting at. Now, if you've done all 3 of these steps, the next one is a big one. To be clear, I'm going to put an ad right now. So now you've found a way to save some extra cash. Now let's earn more money on the cash we're saving while keeping a safety net and some liquidity. Keeping your cash in a typical savings account right now is very slightly, marginally better than keeping it under under a mattress waiting for a house fire. The average interest rate in the US on a savings account is about 0.268%, meaning that if you had $1,000 in your savings account, it would be barely enough to afford a simple slice of pineapple pizza. Yeah, I'm a pineapple on pizza guy.
Kill it with fire!
Like I said in tip number 1, these old banks have not changed in the last couple of years. Customers of the 5 largest US banks could have earned an extra $42 billion more on their balances in just the third quarter alone in 2021 by moving their cash to higher yielding accounts. And think about it, that $42 billion is not made up from thin air. It just went into your current bank's pocket as a form of profit. The simple payoff of moving your cash away from the biggest banks is currently the greatest it's ever been at any point in the last couple of decades. True optimizers who want to get the best bang for their buck and are lucky enough to be located in the US, and I say that because I'm not and I'd love to test out this platform, well, you can use a company called My Max Interest, which is a service that in exchange for 0.08% annual fee on their holdings will monitor which bank offers the best and highest interest rates for its customers. It allows customers to relocate their cash accordingly on a regular basis. And if you're willing to sacrifice some form of liquidity, then one of the best risk-free returns right now comes from an inflation-adjusted bond, which currently pays you about 6% a year, but it just has to be held for a simple year. Americans can buy up to $10,000 of these government-backed savings bonds every calendar year. Now, the interest rate of these bonds are based on the calculation tied with the consumer price index, which is one of the reasons why they've become popular as inflation has surged. But the simple point here is finding a home where you can park your cash. A home that pays you higher yields won't make you rich, but it will give you some protection against inflation. And right now, every little helps, and every bit really is needed. The real ultimate return on your cash might still outcome as a negative, but it would be a much bigger negative if you are complacent and you do nothing about where you keep your cash or how you manage your bills and budget. Good luck out there. Good luck negotiating. Good luck canceling your subscriptions, and drop a comment with the code word to help me out with the YouTube algo, which is money. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.